For one particular reason, I actually like the Polo Vivo GT. The reason is, it reminds me of a car I love very much, the Polo 6 GTI. But this isn't a GTI, this is a Vivo. And in this review, I'm going to park it at a bus stop. And then I'm going to change its gears. And then I'll take it to its natural habitat, otherwise known as mid-rend. And then I start walking like a Polo Vivo driver for some reason. Start nodding at people. And next thing I know it, I'm driving around with the window open. Yeah, be careful where you do this though. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, allow us to get started. Believe it or not, the car you're looking at right now is actually a facelift. Now you might be looking at it and thinking, what exactly did VW facelift? Well, I'll tell you. The mirror caps are now silver, and in case you haven't noticed, it now has a new GT sticker. If you don't know what the old sticker looked like, here's my review from a year ago. The sticker was more to the back, now it's more to the front. Thank you, VW. Thank you. But the most significant change here are the lights. In the pre-facelift version, the car came with those lights. So if you wanted the nicer LED lights, you had to pay for them as an optional extra under the Light and Vision package. But VW, out of the goodness of their heart, have now included the lights as standard. So when you buy your new Polo Vivo GT, it'll come looking like that. And speaking of looks, let's hand it to VW. This shape was the one. In fact, even though it's been around for years, it still looks good. The GT looks so good, in fact, that VW still has to limit it. Otherwise, if they give it things like a sunroof or any other cool feature, people might stop buying the Polo and just buy this instead. Now, this car actually puts VW in a tricky position because in terms of pricing, the price difference between a GT and an entry-level Polo with less power is only 1,300 Rand. So now you ask yourself, do I buy a cooler looking Polo Vivo GT, which is slightly older, especially when you step into the interior, or do you just get yourself an entry-level basic Polo with wheel caps? Let me know what you'd choose in the comments below. Now that you've seen the outside, let's take a quick look at the interior of the GT. You'll find a very small infotainment screen, but it does have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, memory card slot, earphone jack, and a USB. Yeah, it's starting to show its age. There are 2 slots for your cups, and the GT only comes in a manual transmission. More on that later. That is your center armrest. If you're wondering why VW is trying to make it look nice and soft inside, that's because it's not free. It gets in the way of your handbrake, so you'll have to move it every now and then. We'll get back to the price of the armrest a bit later. That is your multifunction steering wheel. Great to hold, your buttons are there, can't really complain. You have analog dials, but this is where it gets awkward. You're sitting there with Ulebo and you're like, hey, baby, please move the mirror for me. She's like, akibakli tsepo, akibakli. Now you have to like stretch and adjust the mirror. That's what you get for not buying a Polo. So be ready for some mirror adjustment. Anyway, if you want a GT, you'll also need to adjust the gears. That's because it only comes in a 6-speed manual transmission, but it's really good. I actually had fun driving this car. Me, enjoying a manual transmission. Yes, this was one of the best manual transmissions I've driven so far. With that said, the GT comes with a 1-liter turbocharged petrol engine, which produces, wow, I'm using an indicator. It shows I'm not a Polo Vivo driver. Polo Vivo drivers, it is not hard to use indicators. Anyway, you get 81 kilowatts and 200 Newton meters of torque. Out on the road, you will experience turbo lag. It's there. But once it gets going, you'll also experience speeding tickets because it moves. The claimed fuel consumption is 4.6 liters to the 100, but out in the real world, I obtained 6.6 liters to the 100. As standard, the GT comes with a cruise control system, which comes in handy on those long drives, but VW needs to improve on the safety because in 2023, at this price of over 341,000 Rand, this car still only comes with 2 airbags. So if you like giving people lifts, keep that in mind, please. Speaking of giving people lifts, this is your back seat. It's a bit tight. The knee room is okay, but yeah, it's tight. I don't know what that is. I don't know. Is it a cup holder? We'll find out a bit later. There's no center armrest, but there is that belt that's there in this. Honestly, I didn't know what to do in this back seat. There's no light at the back. It's that, this is it really. The windows, you must work, baba. You scroll down there, doesn't even go all the way down, but what can we do? It's a budget car. So that thing there is just for abomandla, and those guys who buy ice for you to put their drink there while you drive. It's going to spill on your carpet, but at least the option is there. And for someone who hasn't taken the option to like and subscribe, where is this one going? Where is this car going? Oh, my daughter. This car you'll drive. You'll be out there going to see Abo Mbali, Abo Bush. Hey, this car. It will change your behavior. I mean, look at me. Look at how I was walking. A few days, nyana, with the Polo Vivo, I started having a bump in my step. Anyway, they call it the symptoms of Polo Vivo syndrome. That's your boot. Underneath, you have the spare wheel and everything you'll need to change your wheel. In terms of capacity, the boot is 280 liters. And as always, we have 2 of PA suitcases. These suitcases do nothing else now, and they're even breaking because I'm just putting them in cars, taking them out. But yeah, that's your boot capacity. I know you don't care about suitcases. Yes, you can fit cooler boxes in there. Away, Polo Vivo syndrome. The only known cure is not to drive a Polo Vivo. Don't say I didn't tell you. But if you decide to drive a Polo Vivo and you want to know what the exhaust sounds like, here it is. As you've noticed, it has a soft limiter. Why are we putting soft limiters on Polo Vivos? No one knows. Anyway, if you've been watching this video and you haven't liked, please like. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Support local YouTube, guys. It's the right thing to do. We're still on the road to 60,000 by December, so please share the channel wherever you can. And thank you for 54,000 subs. I really appreciate it. Now, let's get to the price. Look at the swag. Guys, this car is cool. It's cool. It's only ruined by the price. Would I buy a Polo Vivo GT? Before I even tell you the price, yes, I would. If it was 30,000 rand cheaper, definitely. But it's not. The Polo Vivo GT comes in at 341,800 rand. As you're watching it reverse, this brings me on to the optional extras. Now we know VW for optional extras, and I'm sure you're thinking, how many does this one have? It's actually not that bad. The first one, it has a reversing camera. It also comes with rear parking sensors and it will cost you 6,300 rand. The second optional extra is the armrest I mentioned earlier, 2,550 rand. Those are the only extras I found. I know, shocking. I don't know how they managed to pull this off, but that now brings your new price to 350,650 rand. So on finance, with the options, you'll pay 6,855 rand over 6 years at 12% interest. A full tank will cost you 1,156 rand, and if you got an insurance premium of 1,600 rand, it would bring your total cost of ownership to 9,611 rand. And by the way, the service plan is sold separately, so if you want a service plan or a maintenance plan, you'll still need to add on to that amount. But you get a 3-year, 120,000 kilometer warranty, if that's any consolation. So in conclusion, I know you're asking the question, Mr. How much? You have 350,000 rand. Are you taking the Vivo GT? Well, if I'm really looking for a VW, I would go with this. I would get myself a demo Polo Life. Yeah, 3,000 kilometers on the clock, not so bad. It's a bigger car, it's more modern. That one even has the IQ light, so I'm definitely buying a demo Polo Life. Thank you so much for watching this review. If you still want a Vivo GT, go get a Vivo GT. But this is where my money is going. And this is my sponsor, changecars.co.za. Don't forget to check them out. And no, I did not forget. I've decided to name the Polo Vivo GT Thabang. So if your name is Thabang, shout out to you. Again, thank you so much for watching. Until the next one, take care. Oh, I almost forgot to tell you, this new facelifted GT now comes with these red highlights on the seats, so it's a new color. Kind of reminds me of what iPhone did with the brand new iPhone 15 Pro Max. This is really just an iPhone 14 Pro Max with a new color, a new charger maybe, but guys, it's the same phone. So if you're driving the pre-facelift GT, please Do not trade in your car for the new one.